Welcome to Wellness with Purpose.
We should not be strengthening our legs if we have inflamed knees, if they hurt, if our hips are sore, if they hurt. Exercise is not going to get us to the other side of pain. The industry right now doesn't really know how to get people out of pain, but that's why I'm here to help them, to educate people. You are either, is it a hobby or is it a business? And I think mine was a hobby up until about 10 years ago when I'm like, I have any, my taxes wasn't done right and my spreadsheets wasn't done right. And, I didn't have any foundation, to say that I was in business.
Those early days look like for you? Was it clear from the beginning or evolved over time?
I went to my first doctor. He said, this is what they usually tell everybody: lose weight and strengthen your leg muscles. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That's what they say.
Welcome to Wellness with Purpose. Today's conversation is especially important because we are talking about something so many people struggle with, and they struggle silently: knee pain. And not just managing it, but actually healing it. Our guest is someone who has dedicated her work to helping people move better, feel stronger, and get back to their lives without constant discomfort. Renee Moten is a founder of Heal My Knees, where she helps people overcome knee pain in a natural and in a sustainable way. Renee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am just so honored to be here and talk about this topic. This is my favorite topic. It's my passion, and I'm so glad to be here to be able to talk to your audience about it. Thank you.
Oh, of course. So, Renee, I would love to start with your story. What led you into this work? Was there a personal experience or a moment where you realized this is I want to help the people with?
Well, mine started very simply. I was playing soccer, and my ankle went into a ditch. It wasn't like I was going after the goal or anything like that, but I fell into a ditch and I sprained my ankle. And from that particular ankle injury, I didn't realize it was going to totally change my life after that. But the ankle injury, it healed itself. I thought it was healing just fine. But then as the months and months and years went on, my feet started to hurt. And then I developed plantar fasciitis. And then my knees started to hurt. And when I became passionate about it was because every doctor wanted to work on my knee. But I found out after probably about 12 years in pain that the problem was actually at my ankles. That's what the problem was. So that's when I became passionate about educating people that you can't keep going after your knee. We have to go after the source and the core of why we have the pain in the first place. And that's when my journeys really took off.
I agree. I mean, those little moments and those incidents usually shapes everything that comes after.
Mm-hmm.
So knee pain is something so many people deal with, but mostly just people accept it as a part of our aging or life. So what made you decide to focus specifically on knees?
Well, my knee pain came in my 30s. So I was 36 when my knee pain started. And as I'm listening, I've researched this for 20 years. And I now see that people are actually getting knee replacements in their 40s.
Wow.
Okay. So the education needs to get out there immediately, because right now we're taking even high school kids and college kids, they're hurting their knees at that age. It's going to turn into arthritis, and then osteoarthritis, and then it's going to be with the robots and getting surgery. Okay. And I'm just not going to sit back and let that happen without educating people as best I can. And one of the reasons why I focus on knees personally is because if you have a hip pain, a lot of times you can still kind of maneuver, sometimes if you're back, but when your knees hurt, that's debilitating. They take us through the world, and they're very debilitating if they're not in alignment. And when they're not in alignment, your hip will hurt, your back will hurt, and you can become disabled I think if you have knee pain, you give yourself 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
Your knee will become deformed, and you will have not a really unsatisfying life, because you're limping around. It hurts when you stand up, hurts when you go up the stairs, it hurts when you get in and out of your car. And like you said, people sometimes accept that as wear and tear, but that's not true. It's just not true. It's basically the industry right now doesn't really know how to get people out of pain, but that's why I'm here to help them, to educate people.
Wonderful. The early on you diagnose, the better you are going to take care of your going forward life. I completely understand. When you, so when you first started this Heal My Knees, what does those early days look like for you? Was it clear from the beginning or evolve over time?
I went to my first doctor. He said, this is what they usually tell everybody: lose weight and strengthen your leg muscles. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That's what they say. So that's what I did. I'm naive. So I hired a trainer and he worked me out, and we did every squat, every lunge, because my knees wasn't hurting that bad then. So those early years were all about strengthening, strengthening, strengthening. But then I noticed after about 6 years after I worked with the trainer, my other knee started to hurt. And that's when I knew that I didn't understand it, because I was doing everything the doctors had told me to do. And from that particular point, I said, I'm going to become a personal trainer myself. And that was in 1998. Let me see if I can figure this thing out. And I still couldn't figure it out, 'cause I still kept trying to strengthen. I still kept trying to lose weight. Even when I lost the weight, it didn't make any difference.
Okay.
So, and then that was in 2000, in the year of 2002, I got my first lymphatic drainage massage and under my knees, because she was my pedicurist, and she massaged my knees, and I could have screamed because it hurt so bad. But when she finished, all the pain was gone. I had been in pain for 12 years after that, and all the pain was gone. And that was my inkling to say, hey, maybe, just maybe, I can get myself out of pain, because I was already on my second doctor by then. So I took matters in my own hand by 2002.
So you started Heal My Knees around 2002.
Well, the personal training business itself started in 1998. That's when I became a personal trainer. And then when I went in to start to work on knees, and I said, Heal My Knees. That's when I started it.
Okay, wonderful. What was hard in the beginning for you? And actually that part people don't usually see, but what was hard for you?
Well, when I became a personal trainer, both of my knees would hurt. So you're asking me to go to a gym and train my clients. I can't get on the floor. Okay. So what I did, you know those pants called capri pants? They kind of like come down and just go over your knee. I would literally put ice packs on both knees, and then I would put like sweatpants over that so you could not see them. And I would go to work like that. And they said, don't leave the ice on for 20 minutes. No, mine was on for 6 hours, because they were always sore. And I had to train my clients. I'm supposed to be showing them how to be independent and strong. I can't even do it myself. And there were days when because I kept trying to strengthen, I would get on a treadmill and I would just bust out crying, because my right knee would start to hurt. And then my left knee would start to hurt. And I'm on the treadmill. It's like, I got to exercise. And I'm crying on this machine, trying to do what the doctors are telling me to do. And I think in 2010, I said, no more. That's when my whole attitude changed. And I stopped doing what the doctors told me to do. So
what did you start in, and what change have you made in your lifestyle or maybe in your program?
Well, one thing I stopped strengthening. Listen, I'm just going to say this as gently as I can say it. We should not be strengthening our legs if we have inflamed knees, if our knees are sore, if they hurt, if our hips are sore, if they hurt. Exercise is not going to get us to the other side of pain. It's just that I tried it for 5 years. So in 2010, because I was taking a lot of classes then as a personal trainer, and this one man said, most knee pain comes from the ankle. I almost fell out of my chair. Because remember at the beginning, what started my whole pain in the first place was I had an ankle injury. And when he told me to do one exercise, he said, rotate your ankles. Mine wouldn't rotate. They were so stuck. They wouldn't even rotate. I used to cry to get my ankles to rotate. And that's where everybody needs to start, at the ankles. And so from that particular point, from 2010 until 2014, I finally figured it out. I finally figured out we have to work below the knee. And that's when I started taking walks. I couldn't do anything else. So I taken walks and I was like, oh, I can walk now. So I did a thing I call an Avon walk. Avon walk is 40 miles. You do it over a 2-day period. And I did a 40-mile walk and I did it in 2 days and I had absolutely no knee pain. I said, I finally figured this thing out. And that's when I know. That's when it took off for me of understanding that I could get myself, and that's when I started to help other people to understand it too.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, my next question is around that, because a lot of people, they jump quickly on the quick fixes, maybe braces, injuries, and even surgeries that we have discussed. So how do you help people think differently about this healing?
Well, this is very interesting because that's what that's what my book is about. I said we have 2 doors, Whenever time we had a problem with our knees, we always go to the doctor. That's fine. Go to the doctor. But understand that the doctor, if you have some fluid on your knee, they'll take the fluid off the knee and then they'll give you a cortisone shot and send you on your way. The challenge is they don't investigate why you have the knee problems in the first place. They don't investigate. So you're going to stay in that system of the doctor's going to diagnose you. He's going to treat you. Now he's going to manage your pain. Okay. If you stay in that system, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get treatment, diagnose, and management. If you stay in that system long enough with the drugs, the shots, this is a guarantee. You will have osteoarthritis and then you will need surgery. I showed them another door. If you come over here on my door into the Moten Method, that's my method. I will I will investigate why you have this pain. Why? And then once I find out why you have it, then we'll get into the solution, which is reduce your inflammation, reduce your swelling, using hydrotherapy, using lymphatic drainage massage, using exfoliation. And then there's something called a kinetic chain. Show people how to get back into alignment. So once you get into alignment, then you get your life back. So I ask you a question. What door do you want to go in? Want to go on the medical side, treatment, diagnosis, and management, and surgery? Or you want to come on to the other side? Diagnosis, solution, healing, get your life back. You choose.
Wonderful. So that's really powerful, of course. I mean, it's just about changing the mindset of the people, what they want for their life.
You said, you know what? You said, you phrased that question very eloquently about, because that's what I used to try to do. I used to try to convince you, push you, told you, everything I could do. And I said, stop. I'm just going to educate you. And once you know what's going on, you make the decision.
You make the choice.
You make the choice.
Yeah, of course. So, of course, a lot of people is coming to ask you about the knee pain. And of course, do you think that what kind of a mistake people make again and again when it comes to the knee pain? Do you see like a specific pattern?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you ever, I study a lot of exercise classes, aerobic classes, high intensity classes. If you go into those classes, you'll see people with knee braces on, knee sleeves on. The reason that they do that is because they're told that they must keep moving. They must keep moving. They are told that they must strengthen themselves. I actually have a video of me in 2011. I look like a fool. I have this knee braces on and I'm trying to do lunges. It was ridiculous. Okay? It's ridiculous. But understand that Harvard, because I even put it in my book, they basically say, I know your knee hurts. The best thing you can do is keep moving. And I wrote to them and I said, you never had knee pain. Because, you know what I'm saying? So that is the protocol across the board, all over the world, is keep moving, keep strengthening, lose weight. And that is the protocol. And that's why people do it. That's the biggest mistake. I'm going to say a mistake because it's not their fault. That is the biggest misconception that people, because it makes sense. Like, okay, if I strengthen my quadricep muscle, it should take the pressure off my knee. But your knee is in no condition to be strengthened. Your hips are in no condition to be strengthened because they are inflamed and they hurt. They're sore.
So I'm hearing is what you're saying is always listen to your body first, what it's saying, instead of going to some prescribed medication or some published work. Because, of course, lots of facts are now converting into the myths that it's just a myth. Now you have to listen to your body in order to maybe we are working on a longevity right now. Everybody is working on the longevity. And so, of course, so I really believe in holistic medicine and a holistic path for our own life rather than going to the medication or jumping towards a medical treatment. So I hear you. I completely hear. So now we are changing the directions from here. You are not just helping client, you are also running a business. So what is the most challenging part of building this whole program?
In my business, I've been an entrepreneur for 27 years. And I was very fortunate at the very beginning. I worked at a country club, and there was one woman in their country club. She says, "Do you train people on the outside?" I said, "I wasn't, but yes, I do." But anyway, from that one woman, I had received similar to like 20 referrals, one referral to the next referral to the next referral. So the number one, what you want to get at if you're an entrepreneur is you want to get into a referral-based business. You want to get into people that are paying you on a constant basis. You also need another set of income, which I didn't do very well at that, but I kept my clients for 15 and 20 years. I never had to market. And so we have to learn those skills. But the one thing about me, I had been working on myself before I went into business for myself, self-improvement, leadership skills. You have to have all those kind of skills, self-improvement, customer service skills. So when you talk to someone, they believe you, they trust you, they refer you, and you can stay in business. And my business does do something like this sometimes.
Well, that's a smooth transitions if you already
smoother. Nothing but COVID. When you're in a personal one-on-one business like mine, I lost all my clients during COVID, except for like 3.
tough times.
Yeah, I had to reinvent myself,
So when it comes to growing, like reaching right now, reaching more people or scaling your impact, so what feels the hardest for you right now?
Getting more clients.
Getting more clients.
Oh, yeah. But first of all, I have, because of COVID, I have like 20,000 people on my email list. I have 14,000 people on my Eventbrite list. So I use those avenues to share people my new programs that are coming out, my book that's coming out. Also, I do a lot of Eventbrite. Go on Eventbrite and you can do webinars on there. I go on LinkedIn, do events from LinkedIn. You can do them there. In my phone, I have like 2,700 people. And so I just kind of sent something out there, like something's new coming out, you open, let me share this with you, those types of things. So I can always kind of keep people coming in. But it can get, like I said, up and down sometimes. But I usually keep a pretty good client list.
That's good to hear. We all should have a mid-sales funnel.
And you have to go out. You have to go to workshops and conventions and retreats and start to just meet people,
Yeah. Connecting with the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a network. Okay. So do you feel like that people understands the value of what you offer, or do you still think that there is a gap in the awareness?
There's a gap is because when you talk about holistic alternatives, you don't always get a good testimonial, or I don't know the word testimony, but you don't always get good feedback from it. Snake oils and whatever going on in the world. But the acupuncture has finally come into the mainstream as something that's very valuable. Chiropractor, they still working with getting them up into the mainstream as something valuable. Massage. So it's coming up of people starting to rely on these, especially during COVID. When you couldn't go to the doctor, you couldn't go to physical therapy, people start to do more self-care. So they start to learn more about what's coming up. But I can tell you in my business, when I talk about that I can help you to reduce your knee pain, they don't just jump on it. They don't. They basically will, "Oh, that's good. That's nice. Well, my physical therapist is going to do this, or my physical therapist is that, or I'm just going to get my shot. I said, okay. Like I said, I used to try to convince, but I don't do it anymore. And I feel like I'm in a very strong place right now. I have studied this stuff for 20 years. I was in pain for 20 years. And only thing I can say is your doctor and your physical therapist only been doing pain management for a certain amount of hours. Your doctor literally only has 9 hours of pain management under their belt. That's what they get in school. 9 hours.
Yeah.
Their job is not there to do the pain management. Their job is to diagnose and treat, which is fine, wonderful. But you want somebody to help you along your journey, you have to understand who's helping you. I have 20 years of experience of it. And that's what I'm pushing out there in my book right now.
Strong woman. On day-to-day side, since are you the only one working for your program, or you have your instructor, or you have a brick and mortar facility?
Well, I have, you talk about how many people do I have working with me, or what do I, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Right now I have 2 brand ambassadors. They're the one out there talking to the different people, because I have invented a knee pain reduction strap that is going to help people with their alignment. So they're out talking about that. I also have a virtual assistant. Yeah. So he's kind of keeping me on track. He's doing all my research work. And then I'm out there just, talking it up to people all over the world, especially all over my community right now, since I have my book, that this is what I offer. This is what's out there, just here to educate you. And so,
Right.
so we're doing.
So you already have help, but like when it's coming to like managing clients or the communication or the contents, so do you do it yourself, or where does it feel very overwhelming?
Well, during COVID, I had to do everything online. So I got really good at it. Okay, so I had to switch I was actually teaching my methods to people online. So that's why I knew it worked. So then I had to take it from teaching them online to just putting that online and say, you push on this button, you can get my program, and it has everything in there that you're going to need to be successful. And so that's where I'm at right now. I try to stay out of it. I want to be able to bring more people, not do a whole lot of one-on-one like I used to. But I still do one-on-ones, but I don't do them that often. But it's more of, I have this incredible program right now on my website. You just push on there, you get the strap, you get all my technique, all of my videos, and I'm there to even have a coaching. If you want some coaching, I'm there for you too. But it's all laid out for you. It's like ABC, and
Okay.
like to see a fifth grader could do it.
So all your content is on your website, and if they want to do a coaching, but you are not doing a one-on-one sessions. It's just that the people, you are having more brand awareness, so that more people will come to your program and will join the program, and they can do something on their own. And if they want some kind of a coaching or a help, you are always there to help.
Correct. It's, yeah, I have found out, and I'm not tooting my horn or anything like that. What I have is so valuable, and I just can't keep it to one person. Literally what I know from all these years of studying, it's just going to create this incredible foundation of wellness for people. Just a foundation. Now you can do what you want after, but let's get the foundation. And that's what my program is about. Just let me give you a foundation, just like a house. A house got a foundation, but the rest of the house can be anything. That's what my programs are. Just allow me to build your foundation, and then you can go do your kickboxing, your Zumba, your step aerobics, or whatever you want to do. But gotta have a foundation, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm really touched how you are I see you so excited talking about your work. And that's amazing. That's really amazing. So like now the time is changing. Everything is going towards an AI. So I'm just curious, how do you feel the artificial intelligence right now in your space? Are you like excited, unsure, or not? Are you using it?
The only time I use AI is if I have to do if I'm doing an email to a doctor. And I may have to do an email to a massage therapist. Or I may have to do an email to a physical therapist. So it's like, AI, what is the best language to use? So I write the email up first, and then I ask them to put the language in there to help me along. But that's the most, they can't write my programs up. They can't do that because it's all, it's all unique, And so that's about the only time I use it, like for emails or I'm making a post. But I write the post up first, then I ask them to maybe critique it. And that's about the most I would use of them.
Okay. So do you think that this kind of a work, it takes time from a day? It takes your hours in a day, and maybe you can spend those hours in maybe working more towards your client or building more knowledge base to your program?
Well, for me, because I actually ended up in the hospital back in 2000 because I overworked myself.
Oh,
Okay. I overworked myself. And I have a coach, and I highly recommend if you're an entrepreneur, you need a coach. And so my coach would say, stop, just stop. Okay. Do this, do that, do this. And then you got to go rest, go sip out of the water, go walk outside, walk in the grass, And so I have been able to stop and don't get so, because if you know anything about, we talk about holistic and how things are supposed to work. It's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be alignment, balance, feeling good, listen to the body. And I do that now. And so if I feel tired, I just go lay down and rest. I don't push it anymore like I used to. It wasn't a good look, what I used to do.
I understand. I understand where your perspective is coming from. Of course, as I earlier said, that listen to your body, and it's all about balance, mental balance, physical, emotional. So we need to hear ourselves. We need to listen to our head.
I have
And
one of my coaches, when she told me how to do these programs, she said, you do your programs, and she would tell you what to do each week. She said, on the fourth week, you take off, go on a vacation. And I would do that. It was like, people like, how many vacations you went on? Like 4. It's only been like 5 months. I've been on 4 vacations because I would stop for that whole week, and I would recharge and replenish and come back so much more stronger, Absolutely.
so, okay, even if AI can help you 5 to 10 hours a week, like scheduling, follow-ups or content, so what would you do with that time?
If AI could do my follow-ups and stuff?
Yeah, it can free up even 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe like scheduling, follow-up, or maybe you're working with your content. So what would you do with that time?
If I had to do anything if it could be possible for AI to, I have to do a lot of, especially my virtual assistant, we contact over 200 coaches. Okay. We list them down. If AI could go in there and just after a week or so follow up with those coaches again and say, hey, we're still, and then, if the coaches answer back, then, some kind of way, let me know so I can start to do my magic. But my biggest challenge has always been the follow up, because I have to contact so many people, and that would take some stress off of it to the point, because follow up is the number one thing. In order to ever make any money, you have to follow up with people. And that has always been my challenge, I'll say.
Yeah, and that usually this kind of answers usually says a lot about what really matters. As of course, I am hearing you now. So let's have some kind of a reflection here. If you go back to when you first started, so what kind of an advice you are going to give to yourself?
Oh, wow. When I first started into personal training, I would say I would have focused on building a team of people instead of trying to do everything myself.
On myself.
Because I didn't have any systems in place. Because when you have referral people, I just said, okay, this is wonderful. So everybody just fit right in. I didn't have to do a lot of follow-ups or anything. But I didn't build another income stream. So you should build an income stream. You should build a team. And I feel that's where I did not do that. I was doing everything myself.
That's the older Renee is saying to the younger Renee to so build a team.
Yes, yeah. Well,
That's profound advice for every young entrepreneur.
you've ever heard that saying? I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's basically you are either, is it a hobby or is it a business? And I think mine was a hobby up until about 10 years ago when I'm like, I have any, my taxes wasn't done right and my spreadsheets wasn't done right. And, I didn't have any foundation, to say that I was in business. And so the key is, and somebody asked me also, Renee, if you had to sell your business, how much would you sell it for? Who would buy it? Who would want to buy it? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
So that's an interesting question. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, how much, and once you leave your business, can you leave it running for maybe your daughter to take over or your granddaughter to take over? And I had to think about that. I'm like, no, it's not in that position to be able to do that. So I had to come up a couple levels so that it was be able to leave my position, leave it for my daughter. You can run it now, but he's not even there yet to be able to do that yet. So that's something to think about.
Yeah. So we are now coming towards it. So looking ahead, what's next for you and what are you building towards?
Oh, wow. Right now, my book, I think I said it to you. Okay, my book came out. What I'm looking for right now, I already have about 4 book signing gigs. So I'm looking to travel all over the world to promote the book. But I'm also looking to be able to get into the physical therapist. If I can get into the physical therapist to change the way they do things, that's going to be my really big goal that I want. Also, the fitness industry they're not kind to people's bodies. So I'm having to build some certification programs for the instructors, the aerobic instructors, the Pilates instructors, the step aerobic instructors. They're doing what they know, but their people are getting hurt in their classes. So certification programs for them, working with the physical therapist, and also getting into Johns Hopkins or NIH to say, here, we can get rid of osteoarthritis. We can, but we need to do things a little bit differently. And this is what I want to bring to the world. Something that's a little bit different. Healing is not that difficult. And nothing that I have in this book can ever hurt anyone. So why not let's just try it. Okay. And the Arthritis Association, they're not really open yet. Mind-wise, I've tried like 4 or 5 times. They're not open yet. But hopefully maybe you'll let me in there a little bit and just say like, okay, Renee.
Good luck to your vision and your dreams.
Yeah, well, I got different avenues and I got people out there working. So every time I talk, I know I get another advocate out there. So that's what I'm talking about.
So Renee, this was such a meaningful conversations and how simple and powerful your work is. Helping people move without pain is life-changing. And what stand out is how much you truly care about the people you help. Thank you so much for being here. And to everyone who is listening, thank you for being here with the Wellness with Purpose. And if it's resonated you, share it with someone who might need it. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for having me.